Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're doing another one of these videos where I do my very best to not cut away from me having a conversation with you, which for some reason makes me substantially more nervous than interviews or gameplays or full reviews or any of the other stuff we do here on the channel. Today we are celebrating the fact that we just crossed, well, yesterday, just crossed 10,000 subscribers, which is an astronomical number, and we are here way faster than I ever anticipated. It's been about a year and a half here on the channel, and so the fact that we're here is mind-blowing. But that is not what this video is about. In fact, I have another video that I'm recording immediately after this one, going live the same exact day, that's talking about the things that I've learned from 1 to 10,000 subscribers. So if you're interested in the process, the last year and a half, my takeaway, and sort of what I'm trying to remind myself as we look towards the future, swing over there and check out that video. This video today is focused on one of the main elements of this channel, which is the community. I pulled my own subscription feed and then also my Patreon community subscription feed to find out what channels they watch. And so this video, as you've already seen in the title, the whole reason you clicked on this is top 10 board game YouTube creators you should be aware of. And this was an incredibly hard video for me to cull down. In fact, I even left some of my personal friends off of this list due to the rules and the recommendations from my Patreon community after digging into different channels quite a bit. And so in this video, I'm going to do my very best to quickly and concisely but thoroughly go through 10 YouTube creators that you genuinely should be aware of. And now, I know not all of these creators are going to be right for everyone watching this video, but what I would encourage you to do is make sure you take the time to check out 2 or 3 of these other channels. Because if you like the content I'm producing, there really are a diversity of content creators in here, creating everything from reviews to gameplays to how to plays to live streams to full-on Kickstarter coverage and conversation videos that I'd have to say, if you took the whole pool together, there's a lot in here that are doing things better than me. And if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, if you combined everything they were doing into one kind of combination of a channel, I probably wouldn't stand a chance, which is why I'm glad there are 10 separate channels that are all worth taking a look and figuring out which ones fit your subscription feed the most. I know I'm not the best at concise videos, so I really am going to try to keep this flowing and moving, but I want to go over the rules or the conditions for selecting channels in this video, and I also want to remind you just how incredibly important it is to hit the subscribe button on content creators that you appreciate and want to support. Here's the thing. There's other ways to support creators, sharing their content, commenting on it, supporting them on Patreon. There's a lot of stuff you can do to really make sure that we're able to continue producing this. But all of these creators have produced a pile of content, and I, coming from media creation myself, know just how hard and how much time has been put into every single channel that I'm presenting before you. And so, to you, my audience, the reason I'm making this video is very specifically to help you discover content creators that are doing incredible things in our industry, that are building communities, that are having a conversation around board games, because these are people that I not only want to play games with, I would love to collaborate with down the road. If any of them are watching this, feel free to reach out to me. But I want them to continue being here. Like, because they're good, you know? Because we need more of them. And so, as we dive through this, keep your ears open and make sure you take the time to look them up. And I'll be honest, about half the people on this list, I had no idea existed because they're recommendations from my Patreon community who have gone out of their way to show me love and support and just be a community that I've needed over the last few months. And so, thanks to them for pointing out well over half of this list to me, for letting me and making me aware of content creators who I've now hit that bell icon on. on both my channels, my Quackalope one and my personal YouTube channel. Whatever the case, the rules for this video, I'm already talking way longer than I'm supposed to be. I'm just going to get frustrated with myself and like, I don't know, I was going to say something about doing something to the duck, but I feel like that would be, the duck, honestly, has more fans on this channel than I think I do. So, the rules. I have a fancy stack of note cards here, so I can keep my thoughts organized. Normally there's a note card sitting off to the side of a video, a little behind the scenes facts. So, the rules for this video, the way I chose content creators. All of the content creators you're seeing are going to be under 10K subscribers. The reason I'm doing that is because I am celebrating the fact that I just crossed 10K subscribers, which means that people who are watching this, the odds are there will be at least half of this list you're not aware of. Now, are there fantastic board game creators that are well above me in subscriber counts? Absolutely. And if you're aware of me, the odds are you're likely aware of the majority of them. So I thought this would be a cool way to throw some love to content creators that I've been following for a while or that I admire what they're doing. I also have organized this list based off of their subscriber count. So the very first person on this list will have the lower number all the way up to the top. I think we start at 1K and we end somewhere around 8K subscribers. So if you're wondering who to go check out, if you're going to skip through this video, that's a good sense of kind of the orientation or how they're structured. Media production plus improvement. This is important to me. If you're watching my content here on the channel, you know that there's two elements that I've tried to bring to the table. First off, the highest quality media production I can provide. And second off, a desire and a will to always improve upon what we're already doing. Not all of these content creators produce stuff that is equivalent with mine. They don't do layered B-roll or cuts through their gameplay, but all of these content creators produce high-quality media, good quality audio, good quality video, stuff that doesn't keep me from wanting to watch them, and all of them have shown significant improvement or desired improvement over the course of their YouTube career. They all have a history, they've all been producing consistent content, and they've all been getting better and better, which is exciting to me. The other element is all of these are going to be YouTube creators specifically. If someone's main platform is in another venue, I didn't include them on this list. I wanted to focus on sort of the content creators here in the platform that I've spent the most time in. Second, or third, numbers. I would watch them, or would I watch them? It'd be easier if I phrased that as a question. All of these content creators are content creators who I click on their videos when I see them pop up. Now, do I watch every single video they produce? No, they produce way too much for me to pay attention to it all. But these are all content creators who I have the bell icon clicked on and who I am excited or interested in whatever they're producing. Does that mean I watch or finish every single video? Absolutely not. But it does mean that I stay tuned and I'm looking forward to what they're producing next. There are some content creators that were heavily recommended from my Patreon community that I did not bring to this list. They made the cut simply because while I respect the work they do, the type of content they make isn't something that I dip into, or the type of games they cover are not games that I spend a lot of time watching. So I wanted to make sure I was bringing things that I personally feel connected to. And then finally, each of these content creators adds something unique to the mixture. The reason that is important is because I wanted there to be not only a wide breadth of content creators on this, but also a wide breadth of ideas and conversations and styles of creation so that whatever you're here for me for, there's someone in here that does it really good as well. And so you can dip into their content, whether you like live streams or gameplay or reviews or how to plays or our Kickstarter coverage. There is a content creator here in this list that'll be worth your time. So with all that being said, I know I've already taken way longer than I thought I was going to. Let's start digging into this. Now, let me go ahead and real quick list through all of these content creators. There are links down in the description of this video letting you know where you can jump to their content, but let's go ahead and run through this list very quickly and then spend a little bit of time pulling them up and talking about what I really like about them. We have Wait Your Turn, we have ShelfSide, we have La Matatena, we have Chuon, we have Lord of the Board, Before You Play, Our Family Plays Games, BoardGameCo, Board Game Coffee, and Rob's Gaming Table. So let's go ahead and start diving into this. Wait Your Turn, standing at 1,000.05 subscribers with 174 videos produced. That is almost as much as I've produced myself. I think we're at like the 220s or so now. I've went through and I've listed 3 bullet points for all of these creators. This is someone who I am fairly new to, if I'm going to be honest. This was heavily recommended from the Patreon community, and I spent time digging into his content. And the first thing I watched is going to be his coverage of Kingdom Death. Of course, here on the channel, I am biased around Kingdom Death, so it is the very first thing that I dipped into. Now, the interesting thing about him, about Wait Your Turn's channel, is that he does very conversational reviews. The stuff that I've liked the most about his content have been things like his updates around Kickstarters or his deep dive into certain types of games where he spends time just sitting against a white wall talking to me, or sitting with a shelf in the corner, or spending time with some of those weird catty corner angles that some other YouTubers have made famous, talking about what's going on in the board game space, what's going on with updates on games that I love, like this update here on Etherfields. I'm going to be honest, I'll more likely sit down and watch his video covering the update than dive in and read the pages and pages of updated material that groups like KDM or Awaken Realms put out. He also does Kickstarter breakdown videos. This is not something that I do. It's something that I think at least 2 of the channels that I'm highlighting here do. But I have really enjoyed, his coverage on Should You Back It? Like here's one on Ankh, the God of Egypt. And same thing, he sits down here, he's well-spoken, he has good audio, and he just talks to us about his thoughts around the campaign, shows his screen, and shares a little bit of content. And then finally, the other thing that he really does is he does weekly live streams. Now, these are live streams over games that I am a massive fan of. We're talking Kingdom Death. That has been the thing he's been focused on recently. If I keep scrolling down, we're talking Tainted Grail, Aeon's Trespass. I mean, these are games that people who are here on my channel, a lot of you found me because of these types of titles, and these are titles that I have a very hard time covering myself. So feel free to swing over at his page, give him a look, give the content he's producing a look. It is right in line with the type of stuff I want. The only thing I can say about his live streams is I really want him to have a better camera and a better microphone. Now, I'm not giving any other reviewers criticism at all. I am giving him this criticism for one specific reason. I've been a videographer for about 7 years. I've got piles of gear that I don't really use that much laying around, and I hate selling them for pennies on the dollar. So, wait your turn. If you see this video and you would like to get a hold of me, let's see if we can upgrade your live stream equipment. Because I have seen you improving. You've went from a single side angle to a forward-facing angle and a top angle. You have decent quality audio now, and you have that where it pops up text on the screen as you're interacting with people. I really respect and appreciate what you're doing, and I would love to see if I have at least some items that could help you do it even better, because I want to see you continue. So I really admire the drive and the passion. That is Wait Your Turn. ShelfSide is going to be the next one. Let's see here. ShelfSide. ShelfSide is standing at 1.11, so 1,110 subscribers with 105 videos made. Now, this is one of the most entertaining and personality-driven new channels I've came across, period. I absolutely love the flair that this group of guys are doing. To be honest, their most recent reviews relate back to some channels that I fell in love with the hobby through. I'm talking Shut Up and Sit Down, No Pun. Like, these are channels that I watched everything they produced when I first discovered board gaming, and ShelfSide has the same flair, the same vibe, the same passion and energy for the board gaming world. So, right off the bat, their personality and production are brilliant. They use crazy angles, in-depth reviews, take time showing you components. I should really spend time actually clicking on the screen here, because that is part of the idea. I had a video here. I was thinking to myself, I'd really like to show off a specific video, but we'll go ahead and click on Dune and let it scroll a little bit. I think I'm probably going to end up having to do some B-roll here because I thought iPad talking same time screen would work well. Turns out I'm worse at multitasking than I thought. Either way, their content is so highly produced and personality driven. I am immensely impressed with what they're doing, and I cannot believe at 105 videos with the type of work that they're doing, they only have just over 1,000 subscribers. Please go change that. It is clear that this group of guys are just having fun. Also, they make gameplays for the people. What do I mean by that? I think a lot of you that watch the gameplays here on Quackalope watch our gameplay content because of the individuals we have hanging out and playing the games. That is just a speculation, of course, but I think one of the things that I've tried to do is make gameplays as entertaining as possible. And these guys hit that right on the mark. Not only do they have a variety of different camera angles, but they also have a ton of personality, like I was already saying. They do cutaways in the middle of the gameplay following some of those old classics. Look at that top shot. It's just beautiful with overlays and visuals and text. And then finally, they're playing Monopoly. And I watched 30 minutes of this video before I realized that I had to film this at some point. You're the reason I'm up at 3 a.m. trying to get this video finished, because you're so darn entertaining. There are very few channels who I think compete with us, or I think compete in terms of holding my attention. Funhouse is one that comes to mind that just has fun people playing board games. These guys are right on the money with this. I want to see so many more of these videos. And then finally, they also do deep dives around board game topics. These are going to be things like reviewing the idea of luck in board games specifically. And I like these. These are honest conversations, straight to the camera. They're good-natured. Now, I will say one thing about ShelfSide that is unique from the other channels that I have here. They do allow cussing on their platform. So there is going to be some more mature language when it comes to the coverage that you're watching. Now, I know for a lot of you, you're perfectly comfortable with that, but I did want to make sure I acknowledged it because some viewers do watch this, do watch this board game content around their family or while driving in the car or something like that. Don't watch board game videos while you're driving in the car. Either way, let's get out of here. Oh, I forgot to tell you, that is ShelfSide. Please make sure you go check them out. The next one is going to be... I thought I had it in here. Matatena. There we are. Where are you? Where are you? Right here. This next one is going to be La Matatena, standing at 1,270 subscribers with 31 videos produced, but they've kept a pretty good pace, producing at least a video a month for a good series of months. Now, this is going to be our only non-English speaking channel here on the page, and there is a few reasons why we're covering this. First off, it was recommended from our Patreon community, and when I clicked on their content, because I was curious, I was thinking maybe I wanted to dive in a little bit, I very quickly was impressed with the camera work, the energy, the type of content they were producing, even though, myself, I do not speak Spanish. However, my co-host, Jan, who I wish could be here for this, he's going to be back in about 2 or 3 weeks and driving him down from DC. We will have some updates about what we're doing for our Spanish-speaking audience, because Jan is from Puerto Rico. I mean, lived there for 26 years. Spanish is his very first language. And so we wanted to bring this channel to the page, to your attention, because we have more and more audience members that are at least bilingual when it comes to the type of content they view here on Quackalope. I know that because I have a lot of them that leave Spanish-only comments in the comment section of the video, and Jan goes through and responds to them while I am doing my very best to try to learn. That being said, the production quality, the style, the demeanor, this couple are producing really, really incredible content. And so, if you're one of our Spanish-speaking audience members, swing over here and give this a look. If you're not, and you just want to support an amazing group of content creators, do the same thing. Swing over, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you could than you could know. And if you want to share some incredible board game content with some friends or family who maybe English isn't their primary language, this is going to be a great way to do that. The Patreon member who recommended this very specifically emphasized that this is a channel that leans into new gamers, kind of gamers that are going on the journey of discovering board games. They cover things like Wingspan that we have pulled up in front of me here. I saw that they covered vegetable salad. I saw that they covered Point Salad. They just recently put out a video talking about Splendor. So these are going to be family-friendly, more intro-level board games, but a great way for a new audience to be introduced to our incredible community. So that is going to be La Matatena. I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that. Jan will scold me later. The next person on our list is going to be Tim Chuon. Here we are. Tim Chuon. Tim Chuon, I've been a fan of this guy for at least a year now. This is one that I knew. Oh, yeah, standing at 1,710 subscribers. He has made 81 videos. And Tim Chuon used to be called B-Roll in Board Games. I like that he's changed his name to his own personal name now. I respect that. I think it's a good decision in the long run because he's building a brand around himself. But B-Roll in Board Games was his calling card back about a year ago, and if that tells you anything about why I discovered the channel and why I fell in love with it, it certainly should. Tim makes some of the most beautiful board game videos I've came across. I absolutely love his cinematic shots, the visuals, the experimentation he does with how you shoot and film board games is something that I admire and honestly wish that I could replicate a lot of the time. I do fairly standard, high-quality B-roll, but it's not compared to the time and dedication that he puts into experimenting with videography, and you can tell he is learning and having fun and loves what he's doing. Along with that, and all this is through the lens of board games. Now, along with that, he also does something very unique in the board game space. I know a lot of you ask me questions about videography, photography, how I go about producing the content I produce. Tim takes the time to try his best to teach you through the lens of board games. So if you're interested in camera skills, if you're interested in, let's see here. If you're looking for videos such as how to make an engaging board game tutorial, or video lighting setup with creative cinematic options, or 5 tips to build confidence on cameras, this dude is figuring it out, and he is absolutely doing it. I'm going to click on some of his videos just so I can show him off a little bit there. Again, I think I'm going to need some B-roll just to show off everything while I'm talking. Tim does an incredible job at not only displaying board games in a way that makes you want to fall in love with them and really see the beauty in the work that the publishers and designers did, but also teaching you, pacing you through how he approaches it, what his mindset, like where his head is when he's thinking about filming or covering a board game. He also has things called cinematic showcases. These are going to be very similar to my flavor text videos. I like my flavor text videos. I don't mind if you don't. Where he does an overview of the game, but then also dives into some beautiful cinematography. Let's see if we can pull up a video here that shows everything off. Oh, go away. There we go. I mean, I know you're seeing B-roll, but just look at this awesome videography skills. He is hands down better at cinematic shots than I am. And then finally, the other stuff that Tim does is he does really good quality reviews and how-to-plays. He doesn't put these out as often, so it's sort of mixed in between his coaching media and his tutorials and things like that, but I do always like digging in. He has well-reasoned and concise thoughts around the games that he likes. Oftentimes, he matches up fairly closely, but more mid-weight games than I do more heavy games. He does primarily more mid-weight games that have some sort of visual presence here on the table. But if you want one of the most cinematic how-to-plays and tutorials ever, check him out. After him, we're going to be diving into Lord of the Board. If I can pull him up here. This is way more complicated than I initially thought it would be. Lord of the Board, another creator who I have been mildly harassing for the better part of the last year. I've been really impressed with his content and really impressed with the progression he's made from when he first started making videos all the way up to some of his most recent stuff. Here we have a video of him covering the Back to the Future, the brand new Back to the Future board game. So Lord of the Board is standing at 2,240 subscribers. He's made 36 videos, so less than the majority of other creators, but like I said, he's been doing this for the better part of the last year, consistently putting out high-quality content. He does nice B-roll and animation. One of the only creators that I know of that actually pulls in some animated cutscenes and stuff that I think he does just experimenting around into his board game coverage. He does really nice quality strategy guides. That's one of the elements that I think you all might be interested in, covering games like Root and Disney's Villainous. Games that have some asymmetric or off-kilter factions that you might want to sit down and think about for 10 or 15 minutes before you dive into them, really getting your teeth into what the best strategy might be. And then finally, he started experimenting with doing some list videos. These are well-spoken, they have good visuals to them. Right here he has top 5 gateway board games, and then he also did top 5 board games for 2. He's had some good success with those as well. One thing that I can say is his strategy guides have consistently gotten good views for the size of his channel, which means they're well received, they're being shared around the community. He's certainly worth checking out. I'd love to see more in-depth strategy guides coming from him, because the way he thinks about and approaches board games, I think is really fascinating. We have Before You Play. Oh, Before You Play. I thought some of these would pop up because I'd been searching for them already, but apparently it is way more complicated than it should be to use technology. Before You Play is 2 creators who I am actually friends with. I'm going to make sure I hit that bell there. I just noticed that wasn't hit. It is hit on my main channel. Either way, they're standing at 2,780 subscribers with 82 videos made. They've been around for, I think, just at a year. If not, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of their channel. And they do a wide mix of content. Honestly, they cover probably the same type of breadth of content that we do here on the channel, with the exception of some of my more heavy narrative-driven games. Here we have a video where they're covering Lisbosa. They also have a video where they just covered Roar and Write, which is a roll and write game that just hit Kickstarter that we covered as well. So a wide range from super heavy to casual, fun, lightweight family games. They specialize in reviews and previews on a wide variety of titles, and they have high-quality visuals and high-quality audio. They typically don't overlay a lot of B-roll, but it is normally them sitting there with the game out in front of them, talking through their thoughts, their approach to the game, and sometimes doing playthroughs and reviews. This is where they sit down. Here's the gallerist. I'm just clicking all of the super heavy Vitel Lacerda games, because that'll attract my audience, I think. And they do a gameplay and review combination, so a great way to not only see the game functioning, but then also, when you've had enough of the gameplay, when you're satisfied with how the game plays, skip to the end and watch their final thoughts on it. Listen to, their takeaway. Right? It's a decent way to do reviews. I like it. It takes more time. It's why we split ours up. But I do like their approach. And then finally, they have consistently, over the course of the last year, improved upon their camera quality and their camera presence. Again, these are friends of mine. They've been messaging me since I think we met up at PAX Unplugged late last year. And since then, I've had an ongoing conversation with Monique talking about camera equipment and ways she can upgrade and just all the crazy stuff you can do. And they have consistently invested and improved upon their production quality across the board. So that is Before You Play. Now we have Our Family Plays Games. Now, I've been familiar with Our Family Plays Games for probably the last month or so. This is a channel that has been climbing the ranks very quickly. They even were on Good Morning America just very recently, which was pretty cool. They had a great showcasing there, talking about some family games, some intro-level games. They're currently standing at 5,100, and I have 7 written down. They've moved all the way up to 8, 5,180 subscribers with 31 videos made. And this is probably one of the most wholesome or good-natured channels that I've came across. It is these two, husband and wife, with I think their son does all of the editing, but they're sitting down in front of the camera, and they're just talking. And if there's ever been a group of content creators that make me want to sit down and play a game with them, it is hands down going to be Our Family Plays Games. From the very first time I saw their content, I was enamored and impressed by their camera presence and their thoughts around games. Now, they're going to cover primarily lighter games than what we do here on Quackalope, so they cover a wide range of intro to light to mid-weight family-focused games, which I actually appreciate, because these are a lot of games that I don't often get to the table, and a mix of them, a lot of their Beyond Monopoly series, because I entered the world of board games from Catan to D&D to Kingdom Death. I'm now going back down the scale in kind of the opposite direction and sort of stuck up in the heavy thematic zone. Whereas their Beyond Monopoly series is going to be a great way to dive into games that are perfect for people who don't want to climb the ranks like I did, who are doing maybe the more appropriate approach to board gaming, and scaling up the ladder in a series of approachable steps. Genuinely, if you haven't checked out their channel, just go watch one of their videos. That's all I need to say. I think you'll hit that subscribe button right away. And then lastly, their journey into gaming is really fascinating. For me, this is a snapshot of one family's adventure into board gaming, and as they discover this hobby in this world, they sit down and they tell us about it. And I love that about them. BoardGameCo. BoardGameCo. BoardGameCo is a channel who came onto my radar because he copied my idea, I think, and included me on a list of channels that he liked maybe 2 weeks ago or so. In fact, I think a lot of my Patreon members recommended him because they're watching both of us. He's currently standing at 6,080 subscribers with 125 videos made. And this guy puts out videos nearly every single day, so all the respect in the world to the amount of production he does. That being said, I discovered him because he strategically listed me on one of his top 10 videos, so now I'm strategically listing him on one of mine. No, genuinely, his content's so good. It is well-spoken, enthusiastic, and way more educated and reasoned than I can hope to approach when it comes to board games, especially board games and the industry as a whole, and how you look at them from a market value and an investment, and whether or not a Kickstarter is worth it, not only from my FOMO, my fear of missing out, but also an approach that rationalizes why and how you should back or invest in Kickstarter games. He does really, really good stuff. Now, there's going to be two primary things that I go to him for at the moment. I go to him for his Kickstarter coverage, so his wrap-ups where he digs into the campaigns that have his interest, talks about the value scale of them, if he thinks they're worth backing to us, the consumer, and if he is backing them personally. I like the way he spends the time to dig into all of those elements. And then along with that, I really genuinely love his genuine conversations around the board game industry as a whole. Talking about things like fear of missing out, or miniatures, or let's see here. What else do we have here? The idea of games leaving his collection, or games or Kickstarters that kind of cancel early or cancel close to funding. He just had a recent video on that. Produces really, really great conversational videos, and his audience is super active when it comes to those type of videos that he's producing. The final thing that I tune into BoardGameCo for is going to be the narrative of his own personal collection. He produces videos talking about what's coming into his collection and what is going out of his collection, and I find that really interesting. As someone that doesn't get rid of games very easily, I've been really entertained by his reasons for either keeping a game or getting rid of it. I watched a video that was, I think, games that he hadn't played over the last 2 years or so that he was keeping and justifying doing so, and then I watched some videos about games that were currently leaving his collection. Most of his stuff is him sitting with either a screen cap or him talking to the camera specifically. So here's the top 10 YouTube creator video that he made that he included me on. So a lot of his content is going to be like this, very conversational, not a lot of B-roll, not a lot of filler, but just him having a straight conversation with the camera. Boom. The next channel that I want to highlight here is going to be Board Game Coffee. Board Game. Again, way more difficult. You can see me finger poking here. Board Game Coffee. Interesting little group of people. I met them at Origins last year, well over or just at a year ago. And this is Such a fun, entertaining couple. 6,100. My Discord's flooding my channel with messages at the moment. Not really. There's like 7 of them up. It's the middle of the night. 6,120 subscribers with 196 videos made, and a fantastic logo, I dare say. Board Game Coffee are going to be doing some really high quality, primarily for me, some really high quality reviews. They do this mix of comedy and well-informed or well-reasoned approach to board games with decent criticism, great quality footage, and genuinely really good comedy between him and his wife. And so I tune in for nearly every single review they watch, or every single review they put out. And then on top of that, he's been doing a mix of other content. He just started doing his top 50 board games of all time series. I'm really excited about his designer spotlight series. This is something we've talked about kind of behind the scenes personally, focusing on it and really lifting up a designer in the community. His first one was Eric Lang, which, jealous much? Either way, super high quality reviews, good comedic approach to board game coverage, a mix of experimental videos. He even has a series called Date Night that I think is now featured on MVM, where him and his wife sit down and dive into their approach to and their experience with board games as a couple. I need to keep clicking on these videos so I actually have stuff rolling here for you to watch. That was sort of the whole point. So, Board Game Coffee, fantastic couple. After that, we are going to dive into Rob's Gaming Table. Rob's Gaming Table. Rob's Gaming Table is sitting at 8,090 subscribers with over 1,000 videos created. Make sure I hit that bell. Make sure you hit the bell on all these things. With over 1,000 videos created. And here's the crazy thing Rob's Gaming Table does. Rob's Gaming Table produces nearly, as far as I can tell, nearly daily live streams of a ton of games that my audience and I are massive fans of. We're talking Gloomhaven, we're talking The Tainted Grail, we're talking Mage Knight, Kingdom Death, Too Many Bones, Dawn of the Peacemakers, Seventh Continent. I mean, as I'm scrolling through these playlists and all the options here, there's so much content here. And there's so much content on games that I personally love. Here's one thing that my Patreon community has let me know, because I am newer to Rob's Gaming Table. It appears like he has taken about a year to dedicate to trying to do this full time. Him and his wife have really focused on putting out as much content as consistently as possible and the highest quality content they can produce. And what my Patreon community has communicated to me, because I was watching his stuff and I've been asking questions, is that his stuff after the live stream's over is good. Like, it's a live stream of gameplay, right? You know what to expect. You know if you're someone that enjoys watching that. But during the live stream itself, it is apparently a lot of fun to hang out in the comment section, to interact with him, to talk about what's going on. There is a active fan base that just comes and spends some time, especially on the campaigns that they're invested in or interested in. And along with that, here on YouTube, as far as I've seen, he really does produce some of the highest quality, if not the highest quality, live streamed content I've come across, which is important. Again, apparently my update's not installed, which is important. Again, that is part of my category for choosing people here on the channel. I want to pick people who are pushing the boundaries of kind of what we can do in this space. So he has a really nice green screen that perfectly cuts him out. He always has him superimposed. Sometimes he has extra screens that pop up for items or components, good quality audio, and then finally a nice top shot that just shows everything else off. And it looks like, I'm just noticing, it looks like he might use my, the same type of tabletop covering that I do, which is cool. So more respect for him discovering that along with me, or both of us discovering it together, or maybe we've talked and I'm not aware. Either way, if you enjoy a community, an audience, if you enjoy being able to hang out during a live stream and watching games that actually get finished, it's another thing. He plays through entire campaigns and stuff, which is something that I just have not figured out the capacity to do yet. It's partly because he's doing like 4 or 5 hour long live streams every single day. That's part of the reason why he can do it, but I mean, kudos to him. So if you want to see a narrative-driven story played out the whole way through, or just dip in or listen to it as a podcast or hang out for a while, Rob's Gaming Table is going to be an incredible one to dive into. And that's gonna be my list. That's the 10 channels I really think you should be aware of. Now, while filming this, if you're still watching, I do have to say I have 2 honorable mentions that one of which I really honestly almost re-recorded this video because I felt very bad when in the middle of this video I realized that he wasn't on my list. And that is going to be Lonely Man BGS. Let's find him right here. I don't know how in prepping for this and taking notes and looking over my subscriber list, I overlooked or didn't include Lonely Man BGS. I not only have been following his content for an extended period of time, but he makes some incredible visually driven and compelling content. He's currently standing at 3,200 subscribers. And how many videos has he produced? Let's see here, 167 videos. Now I think I know the reason why he didn't pop up into my feed. It's because his most recent video was produced maybe 3 weeks and then a month back. But genuinely, if you like my production quality, if you like my B-roll, if you like my approach, his how to play and tutorial videos are top-notch. It is voiceover, very well scripted voiceover paired with cinematic and just really, really accurate visual representation. Let's skip through here. So it is voiceover paired with very, very accurate, high-quality visuals. So, honorable mention, Lonely Man BGS. Dude, I'm sorry that I didn't, and I don't, I really like the list I have. I'm just saying, I've been a fan of Lonely Man. I remembered him because B-Roll and Board Game, or Sam Chuon, Lonely Man BGS, and Lord of the Board are all channels that I discovered when I first started out looking for people who were doing the same style of production that I was doing. The B-roll, the visuals, and all of them were adding something unique, and so all of them have had a conversation into what my channel's been over the past year. And then finally, my one last honorable mention is going to be NewBoardGameDesign. NewBoardGameDesign is a brand new channel. They have 78 subscribers and they've produced a total of 2 videos, which is why he didn't make it into this main video. Now, I'll be honest, he is a Patreon subscriber. He informed me of his channel when I asked the community for their recommendations, and I checked out his stuff, and by golly, is he good on camera? Is he good with visuals? Is he good with talking about the subject of his videos, which is board game design, his thought process, his approach, trying to do something in the hobby that I think could be really beneficial. Talking about design as a whole, whether it's color or style or narrative or just components and the way they click-clack together and everything sequences. And so I've shared his content over on some of my Facebook groups, and I wrote back to him personally. I said, hey, you're not going to make it into this list. The reason being is because I'm looking for people that have a historic standing. I want to know that you can do it, that you've been doing it, because if I'm sending my audience somewhere, I want them to have a place that they can land, with videos they can dive into, with evidence of improving. But I couldn't help myself but to include this because I want to encourage him to continue producing what he's producing. This video was not easy to make at all. This had to have taken an overwhelming amount of time. And I am grateful for it, and I know a lot of other people that are in the board game design communities that I'm a part of who are also excited and grateful for it. And so, if you're interested, if you've made it to this part of the video, go check out NewBoardGameDesign. Check out the 2 videos he's put there, and hopefully, get excited with me for whatever else he's planning on putting out down the road. I think that's a video. I'm not entirely sure, but it feels like a video. And I've been talking for like 40 minutes, and now I'm gonna go edit it. Like I said, it is now 4:06 a.m. on Thursday, July 2nd, the same day this video is going out. And I'm going to go get to work. If you're here, thank you for supporting me. And thank you for supporting some of these other creators, because I know you're going to. But whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games. And I'll see you next time. Thank you so much.